Ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Chaos Head. And last time we saw Sewer intervene at the locker when we were about to kill a baby. We were about to kill a baby, by the way, to try and obtain a cheat code. And then suddenly he shot me and was like, hey, activate the cheat code. The baby's dead now. He shot the baby first. Let's get the timeline correct here. We open a locker to get what is supposedly the cheat code that we've been given by the Committee of 300. If you're, like, looking at this as your first episode, this is very confusing. So, we open a locker. Inside the locker is a baby. A baby that's very much alive. Takumi's like, hey, we should kill this baby to go obtain this cheat code. Senna's like, we shouldn't do that, that's not very cool. I don't want to do that. And then in that kind of confusion, Sewer appears, the partner to Ban, who's really a baddie, we know that by now. He then shoots the baby, and then goes to shoot Senna, and I jump in the way thinking, well, the cheat code's going to be activated, I should be invincible. Turns out I'm not invincible, and I'm about to die. And before Sewer gets to kill me, he shoots me a couple of times, but before he gets to kill me, his hand gets taken clean off by something we don't know. And then our consciousness is turning foggy. But despite that, we turn around and see what's going on. So despite my consciousness turning foggy and the pain ripping through my entire body, I slowly managed to turn around. So let's find out what's behind us. And there I saw... Oh, Rimi! Rimi? Taku. Clasped in her hands was a sword so elegant, so beautiful, yet its form was unendingly sinister. I'd never seen anything like it. It was Rimi. Rimi, who had disappeared on me before, was here. She looked at me with a smile filled with sorrow. A large quantity of blood poured from the man's arm. Everything from the elbow down had been severed. The hand holding the gun rolled down around on the ground. Had Rimi done that? You bitch! My hand! How dare you! Well, with all the horrible things you did to Nana-chan, this is nothing. Rimi. Rimi avoided my dumbfounded gaze. She simply stood in front of the man shielding us. Get out of here, now. I've got the gist of what's going on. Ayoi-san, Taku. Destroy no other second. That sharp voice brought me back to my senses, but when I tried to move my body even just a little bit, I was tortured by unrelenting pain. I wanted to collapse on the spot. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to think. But most of all, I didn't want to die. My consciousness was fading. I was fully aware of the blood flowing out from the wounds covering my entire body. Despair and the fear of death threatened to overwhelm me, but I fought them back and held onto Senna's shoulders. Let's go. While we still can. I'm sorry, Nishijo. You shielded me. And now you're... Senna? This isn't like Senna at all. Get your act together. Get your act together, love. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Excuse me. That's me accidentally pressing space. Backlog. Senna's eyes were clouded with tears. It was the first time I'd ever seen her crying face. I guess even level-headed women like Senna cry sometimes. Yeah, I guess so, Takumi. I noticed something else as I held her shoulders. Her body was incredibly frail. I was sure that wasn't unique to Senna, it probably applied to all in real-life girls, really. Her body was slender as well, something guys also didn't share. On a normal day, she exuded an aura of confidence, arrogance, and so much overwhelming vigor it felt like she could crush me with it. But at the end of the day, she really was still a girl. This'll be alright. Don't cry, Senna. If we just use the cheat code, it'll heal all those wounds in an instant. It has to. Believing that, I grit my teeth and walked forward. Behind me, I heard the sound of a strange mechanical sound, and a shrieking resonance entangling with one another. but I refused to look back anymore. What? We talking about? Okay, here's the building. We made it above ground. A trail of blood marked the path we walked. I'd lost a lot of blood. The intense heat I'd been feeling in my wounds had been replaced with an unbearable chill. No matter how much I tried to keep it under control, my body kept violently shivering. My teeth wouldn't stop chattering. Looking up, I saw the planetarium standing before us, but the moment I did, I realised something was off. The surrounding buildings had almost entirely collapsed, and the ones that were still standing were covered in cracks and fissures, and yet the planetarium was completely intact. Not only that, but I thought the building was supposed to have been demolished years ago. But it still stood tall in front of me. Why? Why hadn't I realised this until now? Why hadn't I questioned it earlier? Was this because of some Giglomaniac's power, or was it Noah the Second's doing? At any rate, the reason I noticed must have been because of the cheat code. Now we just needed to activate it and we should be able to destroy the planetarium. Without me supporting her any longer, Senna fell to her knees. She was still heartbroken. Senna. Use the cheat. Even talking was agonizing now. Senna looked back and forth between me and the baby, making her look like she was shaking her head no. But all she did besides that was tremble. Ooh. I was running out of time. My vision was going blurry. If we didn't activate the cheat code, I was gonna die. Nishijo, just hold on. I can't. Don't die. I'm begging you. Hey Nishijo, the world isn't an electronic device. I just convinced myself that it was. I couldn't save my mother and sister. And because of that, I couldn't forgive myself. I couldn't forgive myself for feeling sick and for vomiting. I couldn't. I didn't want to believe they died, or that Dad did it. I wanted to get rid of all of my emotions forever. But I couldn't. I felt nothing but hatred toward Dad, and I felt nothing but sadness toward Mom and my sister's deaths. I couldn't forgive myself. I don't want to let this baby die. Damn it. I couldn't rely on Senna anymore. I had to do it on my own somehow. I reached out my hand to the blood-stained baby that Senna was cradling. Give it to me. But Senna refused to let go. You can't, Nishijo. Stop. It's already dead. Taking charge, I wrestled Senna's hands away as she looked at me in horror and forcefully grabbed the baby. That's got to be Senna, right? It's not the baby. She broke down crying. Yeah. Ignoring... Because the baby's dead, of course it is. Ignoring her whale's eye, clutched the baby. Cheat code. Activate. Lend me your power. Nothing? The Committee of 300 is lying to you. Is that it? Sword? Sword time? E-sword? Suddenly, I noticed it. A strange colour, shrouded in faint light, coming from inside the baby. I pulled the sword out of the baby. A shining sword was lying at my feet. A D-sword. Forgetting all about the pain, I took hold of it. Despite being so long and gigantic, it was shockingly light. It was almost like I was holding nothing but thin air. I now knew for sure this was a real D-sword. It was no fake. Hot damn cheat code. To think I finally got my hands on a D-sword this easily after struggling to get one for so long. Summoning all of my remaining energy, I stood up. My wounds hadn't healed, but I was invincible now. Wounds this bad took a minute to heal. That's all. Senna was utterly useless now. I'd destroy Noah the Second myself. I felt power overflowing from deep within, from the very core of my body. It felt like there wasn't anything I couldn't do. I'd obtained power rivaling that of God himself. Dagga 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 boom boom. I brandished my sword. My target was the planetarium, illuminated ominously by the surrounding light. I'll destroy you. This is the end. Oh. A gunshot echoed throughout the air. Blood spewed from my chest. Soon after, I was hit with an intense pain. I immediately died. For a moment I stopped breathing, my vision went black. I had an awful feeling writhing in the depths of my throat, and the taste of blood spread through my mouth as I coughed violently. That guy from earlier, had he shot me again? Had Remy failed to hold him off? I looked around. Only to be absolutely astonished by what I saw. Is it going to be Senna? Oh, there were tons of people, all crowded around me and Senna. They all had dead eyes. They all were holding guns. And they were all aimed at me. I like this music. It's like late 70s prog. Is on the phone, they want the music back. Every single one of them was whispering something. May the divine light save us. 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 Senna, get down! They all fired in unison. Countless lead bullets penetrated my body, boring out my flesh, slicing through my bones. I was assaulted by impact after impact, my body danced around by an order not my own, just like a marionette. The pain stabbed at my consciousness. It felt like I was going to pass out. You! Even still, I desperately kept standing. My D-sword was still raised high, held aloft in one of my hands. I'll destroy it. I prayed. I'll destroy Noah the Second. No matter how desecrated my body is, I won't die. I can't die. Ah! I swung down. D-sword drew a trail of red light. A brilliant flash burst into the night sky. The blade of light tore through the endless night and descended down upon the planetarium dome below. Just cut the thing straight in half. Oh, only to be deflected by some unseen force. No way. No, it's Noah. That's how you say it, Noah. It was like there was some sort of invisible wall. The light emitted by the D-sword was reflected, refracted, and dispersed. I wonder whether there's an accent that uses the vowel for way as like an ah. Noah. Noah. I'll have to think about that. Maybe there is. Irish. Probably, right? Scottish? No, they say way. They say way. I think most people say way. It was like there had been some sort of invisible wall. The light emitted by the D-sword was reflected, refracted, and dispersed. Silence. Senna. Me. And the people who'd been shooting at them. We all simply stared, dumbfounded. Even with the cheat, it didn't work. Was Noah the Second indestructible? I wonder whether I'm saying that right. I've probably brought this up before, but it just says Noah 2. Maybe it's Noah I that you're supposed to say. But I'm going to stick with Noah the Second. I've started, so I'll finish. I'd try again. I couldn't let it end like this. I coughed up blood. Greasy sweat stung at my eyes. I could barely feel the pain anymore. My senses were already starting to disappear. My nerves might have been paralyzed. One more swing. I'm strong. I'm the strongest in the world. My strength stat should be so high, it should be absolutely OP. So I just need one more swing. I raised my sword overhead. It's not going to do anything, is it? Imagine if that happened, didn't work, and then this one was just an immediate success, for no reason. May the divine light save us. Uh-oh. Along with the woman's scream, they fired wildly once again. Nishijo! Senna covered my body with hers. I guess Senna had saved me this time. Senna? I'll help too. Oh, it's Senna. I'll help you. Senna tightly, ever so tightly, embraced my blood-soaked body. She grasped the hand I held my D-sword with. Senna's body was so warm. Hell, it was closer to hot. It had to be the heat of her blood, drawn out by the gunshot wound she'd suffered just now. The heat of the pulse of life that ran through her body. Your resolve. I understand it now. I assume that's Senna talking? Let's destroy it. For the baby, too. Let's destroy it. The two of us, with our power combined, we are Captain Planet. I won't let you die. I won't let you do anything rash. You and I, our fates are intertwined. We'll always be together. When we die, when we fight, we'll always be together. Let's break this chain of misery already. Who cares about bringing back the dead? We shouldn't go against the natural order of things. I don't want to see any hatred or sorrow anymore. I don't want to see the world like this. I don't want to see you hurt. So, let's destroy it. Together! The source of everything. Senna's voice rang throughout my fading consciousness. So she'd finally come back to her senses, huh? Completely exhausted and covered in tears, she shielded an Otaka freak like me. And now she was covered in blood. We both dyed in deep crimson. But I really did feel her passion. Her voice really did reach me. Yeah! We have the power! Together we raised the D-sword high. I could still hear gunshots firing around us. But that wouldn't stop us anymore. My power was overflowing more than ever before. I felt a strong life force gushing out of Senna. With this godly power we would destroy the machine that rivaled God on high. This time for sure, we would. Let's do it. Now, Nishijo. I nodded. Together with Senna. I like doing the screams. We swung the D-sword down with all our strength. Didn't do anything. Oh. And right as we did, a flash of light burst forth. A red light that ripped the night sky in two. A red blade that perhaps might even reach the moon. It blew away everything, turning it all to dust. Together with the invisible barrier surrounding Noah II, the planetarium was reduced to ashes. A massive impact and shockwave burst through the city. It felt like my body was going to be torn apart. The people standing around us were blown away. Even so, Senna and I held each other upright. We both clutched the baby in our arms, shielding it. We'd use every last drop of power we had left. We didn't think about what came next. As long as we had the cheat code, our wounds would heal. So right now, all we needed to do was destroy Noah II. With all our heart and soul, we let our power erupt. Did it work? The sounds dissipated, and the light along with it. And in the centre of that ruined city of death, Senna and I stood tall. Senna clung to my body. I leaned against hers. And between us we embraced the bloody baby. That's a dark image. I couldn't walk another step. I couldn't make the slightest movement. I didn't have an ounce of strength left. It's okay now. It hurts, but it's okay now. Bringing the dead back to life, it's just egocentric. I'm assuming this is Senna. Let's return the cheat code. I felt the same way. It was Senna. And because we were alive, we had to live on for the sake of those who had died. Are you gonna live for much longer, though? You took a load of bullets to the back and belly, and I'm sure other places. Legs? Arms? Head, even. I'm sorry. Senna softly and gently embraced the bloody baby. This bloody baby? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for letting you die. Senna had cried a lot today, but compared to the usual girl who glared at everyone and everything, the girl whose weakness was on display right now was far more beautiful. Senna's flowing tears were so very beautiful. As those thoughts flowed through my mind, I looked up toward the night sky. And that's the end of another route. Wow, okay. So what can we take from this? Like, this is weird. I wonder whether is it possible even that we're seeing all of these kind of versions of the world from like each of the Giglomaniacs kind of point of view at this point, right? All the different routes kind of follow a different Giglomaniac. Is it possible that they're all kind of held by Nozomi in like this kind of weird VR space, kind of akin to how Senna's mum was held? And is Takumi sending a delusion version of himself into each of their worlds in order to save them? Is that what's happening here, or am I completely off base? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I guess that's the end of another route in Chaos Head. We can skip this, right? Yes, we can. Oh. Ooh, who's this? I'm happy to report that all errors have been eliminated. I've confirmed the disposal of Noah II and Narosa Igunichi. Who's this? The original Nishijo Takumi has been secured, although he's definitely knocking on heaven's door. Just as planned, after completing the mission, both the copy of Nishijo Takumi as well as Hatano Senna died. Interesting. We'll continue our investigations, but neither Hatano Senna nor Nishijo Takumi are likely to have caused any errors. And isn't that just the bee's knees? Less work for me after all. Alright, before I forget, I decided to take a stroll around the premises, and while I was at it, I took it upon myself to take care of those Cosmic Church of the Divine Light followers as well. Who's talking? Unfortunately, it does seem that Sakihata Rimi was able to escape. Well, I can't see her posing any real threat to us anyhow. The schedule for the worldwide human domestication project is going to need a few slight adjustments. However, I believe that the series of errors that came from these events can be restored and put to future use in the project. As a result, the Committee of 300 hasn't suffered a single loss. Yes, understood. I put a stop to my debugging duties for now. So this is the person that hacked the monitor, right? Maybe? It's got to be, right? So from this point forward, I'll go back to my role as a surveillant. Who is talking? Oh, the baby's still alive. So we do have an error on our hands then. How would the baby still be alive? What is... Okay. So was that just a delusion that bit towards the end? Oh, did those two give it life? I suppose I'll just pretend I didn't see it. I don't have a husband to help and... Oh, this is a woman? We presume. I don't have a husband to help and I'm not exactly wonderful with kids. How would I even get my hands on milk with Shibuya like this? Reached Senna's ending. Reached the Deus Ex Machina ending. Okay, cool. Fascinating. Fascinating stuff. Okay, so what's our next route that we need to do? Let's have a little look. That was interesting. What does that tell us then? I mean, we brought the baby back to life. Interesting in itself. Endings. I'm going to have a look and see what our next ending is while I talk a little bit about this. I wonder whether my idea... So there's the original Nishijiro Takumi who's about to die, apparently. Which we know about from seeing other things. We know that he's close to death. But is it possible that he is... like, in the real world, maybe? If we are to believe that each of these is like a VR construct, if we run with that idea... is it possible that Nishijori is sending his consciousness into these other like delusions set up by Nozomi or whatever? It could be that the real Nishijori Takumi is actually a scientist in... but then why would he put himself as a teenager? That's kind of creepy. So we just did Deus Ex Machina. The next thing that we're going to be doing... There's these at least the slots we did. Deus Ex Machina. The next one, Anima Archetype. Wow, we're close to the end. We've just got two more. Two more and then we're done. So, Anima Archetype is the route that follows Rimi. So there's going to be a bunch of Rimi-related intermissions. They'll be interspersed throughout the story. The skip mode will disengage. Yeah, we know all that kind of stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of Chaos Head Nowhere, and then we'll be jumping next time into the Rimi route, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on with Rimi. Did we find out much about Senna in this moment? We found out some things. We found out some kind of... there certainly is some merit to the conspiracies that she's been having, so we're going to see... I would be interested to see if those come to fruition or whether they're going to be a red herring. I guess we'll find out next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this, and watch me again. I kind of run out of words to say now. I'll see you later. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks.